I changed my plans. I changed my plans a little bit this morning and decided I didn't want to be on the road driving all day. So, I otherwise I'd have just been on the phone and not very good at this. So, welcome everyone to the Juvenile Justice Subcommittee of the Youth Development Council. And I am Joy, do you want to just run through the list and have us introduce ourselves?
Yes, I can start with the roll call, and if you hear your name, just say present, or you can raise your hands. So first on the list is an Audra, Sarah Collins, Sam Coe, Kim Lay,
Present.
Andy Leonard, Tabitha Lewis, Deborah Martin,
I am present.
thank you, Christina McMahon, Maricela Ortega, Molly Rogers,
I'm here.
and last we have Kiwi Wilson.
All right. Thank you, Joy. And welcome to all of just our members, ex officio, honorary, subject matter experts. Everybody, welcome to the meeting. And I'm going to ask Joy to have a roll call of staff.
Sure, I can start and I can pass it on to the rest of our staff. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joy Snyder, and I am the admin specialist with Prevention and Justice team for the Youth Development Oregon. I will pass it on to Lawrence.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lawrence White. I am the Racial and Ethnic Disparity Coordinator with Youth Development Oregon, and I will pass it to Lindsay Schoonover.
Thank you. Yep, my name's Lindsay Schoonover. I am the Compliance Monitor with Youth Development Oregon, and I will pass it to Anya.
Good morning. I'm Anya Sikin. I'm the Associate Director of Youth Development Oregon. And I see that Christina joined us.
Hello. Christina McMahon, Juvenile Director for Clackamas County Juvenile Department. Nice to see everybody.
All right. So I am going to try to do this in such a way that's quick and efficient, but allows our guests to at least say their name and who they are representing, so or their affiliation if they would like to. And so first is Nella.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nella Hogberg, and I'm a delinquency analyst at the Oregon Judicial Department. Thanks for having me.
Lori.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lori Wick, and I'm the Reentry Transition Specialist for JDEP here in Roseburg for the Mount Nebo School.
Great. Welcome. And Annette. Okay.
Hi, Annette Magicotomy, co-chair of the System of Care Advisory Council for family and those impacted by juvenile justice. Thank you.
Great. And we have Kai.
Hi, you got it. Apologies for being off camera. I'm a little under the weather. Thanks so much for the opportunity to join y'all. My name is Kai Jensen. I use they, them pronouns, and I am one of the project facilitators for House Bill 4052 that declared racism a public health crisis, and that work is housed under the Oregon Advocacy Commission's office.
Great. And your name, my daughter is Ty. So
oh, cool.
Yeah. And so it's one I actually don't see very often, but when I see it, I'm like, oh, I actually might know that one. So today we have a pretty short agenda, but an important agenda. And so the first part of our agenda really is on the Josephine 30-day detention program recertification. And the application was sent out to our committee. And we are planning our site visit for October 30th in Grants Pass at the Josephine County Juvenile Department and the detention facility. So who's all going to be attending? Do we know, Anya?
So as far as I'm aware, Joy, please correct me if I'm mistaken. So Molly, so far it's you, Zen, and I who will be there in person. Okay. Those members who had an opportunity to review the application or still willing to do that, you still have a chance to review the application and provide your feedback in writing if you choose to do so.
Perfect. So how we did with Deschutes County, which worked really well. And Kim, thank you. You gave us several questions to ask at our detention 30-day detention program review. And so we sat with the detention manager and the director of Deschutes County, and we walked through those questions. And then Anya, we were able to capture the answers to those questions so that we could then share back with the Juvenile Justice Subcommittee for approval process. So if we could have those, yes, by Tuesday of next week, because we'll all be traveling on Wednesday, that would be great. So if you take a look at it and have questions, please reach out and get those to Anya so she can read those through the process.
If you haven't volunteered to review the application but would like to volunteer today, we're always encouraging volunteerism at this committee.
Yes. Okay, so that was that particular one. And now we have our next one. And so for members who are new or to our committee, statute requires in the state of Oregon, post-dispositional detention is limited to detention in a county juvenile detention facility is limited to 8 days unless they have an approved 30-day detention program. Then youth can be placed in the 30-day detention program. And the authority to certify or approve those programs is held and housed in the Youth Development Oregon administrative rules, well, statute and administrative rules. And so it's a 6-year rolling so that we as a committee do not have to do all of them every year. It's 6 years unless there's a significant change either in population or programming, and then they ask for an amendment. And so the next one that's coming up is Yamhill County. So Yamhill County 30-day program has submitted their application to start the process. And we have 120 days from today, Anya?
Actually, from the application. And the application was submitted in late September. So ideally, it would be great to get the certification completed by the next Youth Development Council meeting, which is December. So I know time is a little short, but provided that Yamhill would probably not require an overnight trip, perhaps we could get it done before December.
So our next meeting is November 27th. So I would be asking people to look at potentially their calendars of November 25th or 26th. And the reason I'm asking for that is because several of us will all be in Washington, D.C. the week prior as Youth Development Oregon representation. And so Anya and Lawrence and Lindsay and Christina and I will all be gone. So looking at November 25th or 26th as potential dates to do the site visit with Yamhill County. What that is going to require is that's going to require us to do the application review and submit our questions to Anya without another juvenile justice subcommittee meeting between now and that.
Molly, on the 27th, Wednesday, that's the day before Thanksgiving.
I know.
I know.
I know.
Do we need to have quorum? I'm just wondering.
So we do not vote. We just make a recommendation to the YDC itself.
So if attendance is super challenging on the 27th, we could also do email exchange.
Yes.
And come up with recommendations for the YDC meeting. Because it's likely going to be the only big item on the agenda for the 27th.
And if it really becomes super, super difficult and no one is available, we might push it back to the first week of December, which is before, because our meeting is December 12th. So we'll figure that out, but just trying to think about when our site visit could be in Yamhill County. If people could take a look at the 25th and 26th, that would be great.
And it usually takes about up to 2 hours.
Yeah, it takes about 2 hours, and you don't need to be a juvenile justice subcommittee member if you want to kind of tag along and do a review of it. We can work with Anya because it's not an overnight. There's not that level of cost to it. So, but anyway, definitely to look at the application and get it out to get any responses back to Anya.
And thank you, Molly. One thing, so should we assume that the same group will be interested in reviewing Yamhill County application, or we have additional volunteers or somebody absolutely doesn't want to do it? For whatever reason.
I think we have a team, so if we can reach out to that team, if you want to join that team, please let Anya know.
Okay, awesome, thank you. It will happen as soon as I know that you're interested. I'll send you the application.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll try to schedule a site visit on either November 25th or 26th, depending on the facility availability as well.
Yes, yes.
And yours. But also, again, being there in person is important, but we do not need to have the whole group there. Just as long as you had an opportunity to review the application and offer your feedback, ask questions, receive answers to the questions, you know.
And that's really what we did in Deschutes County is used Kim's questions, and we just kind of guided our discussion through that. Okay, great.
Just heads up, we'll have one more application coming soon from Lane County this time. They tried to get it done by December. We just had to say that is not gonna happen.
And Lane County will be a new application.
A new one, yes. So they aim to submit an application in December so that we can time into the March meeting of YDC.
And so that will maybe be a little bit longer of a conversation because it is a brand new one where these are all recertifications.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, great. Oh, then the 25th, maybe it is, Kim. I can do either. So if we
just tell them as the 25th.
They've been super flexible, so that is great. Okay. Juvenile detention guidelines review. Anya, would you like to do an update?
Actually, if that's possible, I would like for you, Molly, and other members who are part of this review, because I was out during the last meeting, so you have much fresher a memory than I.
I don't want to do all the talking, so I'm trying to think. Was anybody else there that would like to weigh in? We made it through a section until the last, so we had to start at 3.10, and let me pull my notes up. So we are meeting once a month, the second Tuesday of every month for an hour and a half for the juvenile detention guidelines. And we had originally kind of planned on doing a couple sections every month. And we now realize that it's one section every month because the rich conversation that is happening and that's going along with the dialogue. So this month, we finished one section of 2, and then we got into section 3, which is security and control. And we made it all the way to the last section of the last point of that section. And we will start on November 12th. We will start on section 4, which is programs and services. And so it's been really just rich discussion on the kind of the best practices and just the dialogue. And after we got done with our last one, I kind of got to smile a bit because often we took a lot of the work out of some work that national work that had been done through the Annie Casey Foundation. And what I found is in my own little heart, because I'm definitely connected with the Juvenile Detention Alternatives initiatives with the Casey Foundation, that some of our standards are even higher than some of the standards written in the Annie Casey. And so that just made my heart warm in a good way to be able to share that back with my colleagues to say, we're even going to do a little bit more here in Oregon. So this month again is section 4, programs and services. Any questions about that process?
Molly Kai has his hands raised.
Yeah.
Hi. Oh, that was just me applauding you in the good work.
Kai, should you be interested in taking part in the review process? You're more than welcome, and certainly would appreciate your feedback.
So how we are doing that is if you're interested, let Anya know or Joy know maybe, and we can get you on the invitation. And what we're doing is just dialoguing it, and then we'll have a document at the end that takes everything into consideration, and we'll put that back out. So if you're interested, please let Anya know so that we can get you to the invite. Debbie. I haven't responded to you yet. Sorry, Debbie.
No, that's okay. I just wondered if this would be a good time to kind of talk about what we were planning for the family review piece.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we had talked at a prior meeting about having some type of family review or input into this. And so I said, hey, OA has a family advisory council, happy to have them take a look at it. Pretty much every kid that comes to OA has been through detention, so they've all had experience in some way. So reached out, so Griselda Solano Salinas, if anybody knows her, is our kind of aware manager. And so she's running the family advisory council right now. She's happy to get it on the agenda. I kind of missed it for October. She was gone, then I was gone. And so we just didn't line up in advance enough, but the next one's November. So we're on that agenda. And talking with Molly, we said, well, really a lot of the sections would be, they're very legal and things that are just standards that really can't be changed. And so it was like, well, do we really need to inundate them with this entire book of stuff? Probably not the best way forward. So we thought though section 4, when it comes to like programs and visitation and stuff, seems the most relevant. So I got an electronic copy from Anya, thank you. So I could just kind of take out section 4 easily. And then Molly and Molly suggested a few questions. So what are the best practices for communication with family members at the time of a detention intake? Information about our response to the program services and visitation section of the guidelines. And then are there ideas or opportunities on how families can provide feedback to detention facilities? So those are the questions that we'll kind of send them a section in advance along with those questions in advance so they have some time to think about it and then come to the meeting. So the question that I have is, I will be there, of course, as just an OA rep on this, but if there's somebody from this group that wanted to engage in that conversation or be a part of that, please let us know. We're happy to get you the invite. It is in the evening. It's a family advisory council, so we try to, pick a time that is best for families. So it's like a Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Is when it starts. I think it's the 12th, November 12th, I think is the
It is.
Yeah, the 12th. Yeah. So that is kind of the status on that.
Awesome. Debbie, would you mind sending that invite to me?
Sure. Absolutely.
We
Thank you.
If anybody can make a decision now, if they're interested in participating, let us know now. You can email, join me later. And Debbie, we'll need to get some special clearance. Where is the meeting? Is it monthly?
It's virtual. It's virtual.
Oh, it's virtual. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And then I'll work with Griselda to try to get the agenda item. There's typically a lot of guests, but I'll request that if we can get it to be like first on the agenda so that we can kind of get into our thing. And then if there's other people on whoever, then we can depart and let them continue. So you don't have to, because I've had presented many times where I'm like the last on the agenda and it goes 6 to 7:30 so that,
That would be awesome because we're not there to present. We're really to solicit feedback.
Listen, yeah. And give them.
Well, there'll be little talking on our part, but more listening. So
yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Debbie, so much.
Of course.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions on that? All right. Now, Lawrence, am I turning it over to you or to Anya?
I think to Lawrence because he has been in the lead.
He's been the one running it, but I want to make sure.
But then, Molly, before we adjourn today, I have some current federal updates that I would like to make before the meeting is adjourned. So just kind of.
Absolutely. I'll give you the last word anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anya. Thank you, Molly. So Lawrence White here. And before I go over the update on the RFA, I'd like to actually share an experience myself and Joyce Snyder had at the RED conference in Seattle, Washington last week. So we attended the RED conference in Seattle last week, Wednesday, Thursday. The keynote topic was raising awareness, uplifting accountability, and taking action. And the Greenhill School Advocacy Activation Group, they actually presented, the initial keynote speaking, and it was presented by the Coalition of Juvenile Justice Emerging Leaders Committee. They did they really highlighted raising awareness on racial and ethnic disparities, uplifting accountability, and really taking action. So those keynote topics was really enforced in some of the presentation that they presented, and it was seen throughout all of the workshops that were available for the 2 days. That was the first time I'd ever been to a racial and ethnic disparity conference. And I was really pleased. I was really surprised at the rich information that they had at the workshops. At the close of the conference, the presenters of the conference, the Coalition of Juvenile Justice, as well as the Center for Juvenile Justice Reform, Georgetown, they asked a couple of racial and ethnic disparity coordinators throughout the nation to kind of sit on a panel and just kind of discuss some of the ways that they are enacting in their states a reduction of racial and ethnic disparities. They asked me to do it, and I was really hesitant, but I did it anyway. And because I just think it's important to highlight some of the great work that we're doing here in Oregon. I really believe that we have some really great juvenile justice professionals that I've been really honored to work with and learn from. So I said yes. And basically it was a roundtable discussion just on innovative strategies to promote racial equity, in the youth legal system. One of the presenters was Michael Umpierre. He is the Center for Juvenile Justice Reform Director at Georgetown. Also, Victoria Key Walker, she's from Michigan, an RAD coordinator also, and she is the national RAD coordinator. Myself, and then a woman by the name of Kiana Edwards, and she's from Minnesota. So basically, they just wanted to just kind of see what kind of ideas and some of the strategies and things that are taking place in these three particular states, Michigan, Minnesota, and Oregon. And really all I shared with them was how our SAG and our Youth Development Oregon as a whole is really invested in legislation, stakeholder collaboration, where we're looking at reviewing our RFA processes, and of course incorporating large elements of the YDO strategic plan. So again, just wanted to share that information with you. Oregon was represented well at this conference. Basically, I just echoed a lot of the things that you have all done, spoken of, and I just wanted to make sure that on a national level we were as seen as who we are, and that's leaders and really trying to transform equity in the juvenile justice system and reduce racial and ethnic disparities. So just wanted to share that with you all. And so concerning the fiscal year 21, fiscal year 22 RFA applications, I'd like to just provide an update on the status of where we are with our request for applications for the Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention Title II formula grants. I don't know if you all remember, but there were 27 applications in the initial procurement eligibility phase for a total of 6 available grants that we had available to issue. So we completed the grant, we completed the grant evaluation phase, and we are now into the intent to award phase. We met with our procurement specialist yesterday on the 22nd. She is the single point of contact for the RFA. And this morning, she sent out a letter to all applicants with the results, demonstrating who was in line to receive funding for the 6 available awards. This is based on total scores. The highest scores were those eligible to receive the letter for intent to award. Further contact will be made to those applicants who we intend on providing an award to, with next steps and requirements needed to receive Title II formula grant funding. There are some federal requirements that must be met. So we are meeting with our procurement specialists on Friday, the 25th, to further discuss this process and prepare for actual awarding of these grants to those 6 highest scoring applicants. And when I say the 6 highest scoring applicants, I don't know if you all remember, but there were 3 program areas: delinquency prevention, alternatives to detention, and community-based programs and services. And there was 2 awards in each one of those program areas. So the 2 highest scoring applicants in each one of those program areas are eligible to receive an intent to award. So there's 3, 2 in each one, 6 awards. So that's where we are today. I'm really excited that this process has moved into this area. I'm really excited about the opportunity to actually fund some programs to help our youth here in Oregon. So that's really all I have at this point. I'll have more if anyone would like to reach out to me with any questions after we meet with our procurement specialist on Friday. Again, an email went out demonstrating who is in line to receive those awards. And that's all I really have at this point.
Thank you. I wanted to just say you should have taken a breath between RED conference and the awards, because just taking a moment to just appreciate all of the work that the Justice and Prevention team has done as part of YDO, and a special thanks to you, Lawrence, for picking up and running with everything, right? With the working with youth and emerging leaders, with racial and ethnic disparities, with working with counties on developing strategies. And so just really, I'm honored that they chose Oregon, but I'm really proud that you said yes and participated with this. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Molly. I really appreciate it. And I really do feel honored to work with such a group of professionals. So it was really easy to get up there and just speak what has been spoken to me through all of you. So thank you all.
And I'm going to put a plug in as we approach 2025. Coalition of Juvenile Justice, which we are a member of as part of the SAG, has a couple different conferences throughout the year, and really just encourage whether your entity supports you in going, because there's some counties as well as some nonprofits in Oregon that participate in the CJJ conferences, or if members of the council are able to attend as council members, because we have a little bit of support for council members to go to the different conferences. Those conferences really do highlight many things that go on, and they are really great learning opportunities, and especially from the lens of the young people. And I just think of a couple people off the top of my head as you were talking about it. Is I miss seeing Addie or 80. I hope she was there with her little baby and leading things, but she has been just really a key person, and just a variety of the youth leaders, emerging leaders with CJJ. And we have 2 from Oregon that are on the emerging leaders. And it just dawned on me that we probably need to reach out again to those young people and see if we can't get them to come to our meetings, because they have full-time jobs. I get that. So, but just having that Oregon representation. So very, very, very cool. Any questions for Lawrence? Okay, so Anya, you get the floor.
Well, firstly, I would like to just concur with everything that was said about Lawrence's participation in the conference and representing us as a state, and for the hard work that he has done with the RFA process. It's not an easy undertaking, as you very likely know, but there's no rest for the weary or whatever we are, because there will be more funds coming in. So we already have a 23 award, which will be dealt with probably in a year, just giving a break and getting a break and letting new agreements to take place and new projects to commence and so forth. So there is no rush with that, but it will be coming. But also, I just wanted to give you an update on the status of our submitted 3-year plan that goes along with the fiscal year 24 application. So I was in a meeting with my peers of the Coalition for Juvenile Justice yesterday. So just to confirm that there is not a single state that received the award. There is not a single state that received the compliance determination letter. So we're not the only one waiting. So Lindsay, don't worry, nobody got the letter. And I know that we had to do some follow-up with our compliance data submission, which was just formality, wasn't nothing important, just type of things. So anyway, it did not affect the letter development. Is just like the letter has not been sent to anybody, or awards have been issued to anyone, and there is no explanation offered. So good. We will probably hear something in 3 weeks at the YDP conference in Washington, D.C. So that's one update I wanted to give you, so to keep you in the loop with what's going on. But the second one, just yesterday afternoon, I received an email from Coalition of Juvenile Justice, and several of you might receive that as well. So those were directed to people who attended a Coalition for Juvenile Justice and NEAKC gathering almost 2 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Baltimore, and that was on the probation reform. So the email was addressed to those of us who attended, and that was Molly, Lawrence, and Mary Seller, and Debbie, and Christina couldn't be there, but that was basically our core group. So the letter has 3 questions, and I think I have answers to the first 2, but I would like to some help with developing the answer to the third one. So the first question was whether the state was able to build any probation reform goals into a 3-year plan this year, and the answer is yes. So we have it in the plan, and the plan was submitted, but the application is still pending, so we don't know whether it was approved or not, but we've done our part, and we've partnered with Neller's group with Judicial Department on that, so we'll see what's gonna come out of it. Number 2, was probation reform built into your state strategic planning at any level? And I see Brian is there, so yes, it's part of the conversations that we have around the strategic plan for the youth development Oregon. Now, this third one, I would appreciate some help, and that's what follow-up from CJJ or NEAKC would be useful for the future cohorts to address number 1 and number 2. So I think if we have a wish list to NEAKC and CJJ, that would be an opportunity to put our minds together and come up with the list of questions and requests. So there's no timeline. I don't think how soon they need that feedback, but maybe within the next couple of weeks would be nice. So if you suddenly wake up in the middle of the night and you have a great idea what to ask for, so maybe just jot it down and send it to us. And because we were kind of wondering what was the next steps, right? It seems that there might be some opportunity to get some assistance. That's all I really had.
Yes, and we'll see Brock next in November.
Right, so we could.
So we can kind of ask him if he has a timeline in mind. So I don't think it's probably a rush, but yeah, over the next few.
That is true. So that'll be an opportunity also to see what's available.
Yeah, to kind of get a feel for what the availability is there. Brian joined us. Welcome, Brian. And also he reminded us that Kiwi was at the did Kiwi participate virtually with the RED conference?
He was an emerging leader at one point.
Oh, he was an emerging leader applicant. Gotcha. Okay.
Member.
Oh, he's a
CJJ.
member. Oh, he is a member. Okay, great.
Is or was. I'm not sure if it's still active.
So we got caught when we were in DC. We were surprised to find 2 from Oregon that Anya and I didn't know, and so we reached out to him. And one was from like Jackson County or Southern, and one was from Bend. And so, yeah, great. So thanks for reminding us of Kiwi that he was one of the emerging leaders through CJJ. So let me do a little bit of spiel on that since we've talked about it quite a bit. There are opportunities to participate with the Coalition of Juvenile Justice for emerging leaders. I think the ages is up to 28, I think is the age. And system involved youth to participate and apply. And then there's some leadership support and some growing opportunities for the leaders to use their story to impact policy. So if anybody has or comes across somebody who is interested in doing that potentially at a national level, there is the opportunity to do that. Lawrence, did you go back to Washington, D.C. or was that with a different part of the system with the young people? Or was that Paul?
That was Paul, yes.
Paul, so that was a different part of the system, sorry. But they do have a couple of, they meet virtually. We've met we've met some amazing leaders out of that particular group. Audie is amazing. Sam is amazing. So we've learned a lot from them. Debbie.
Thanks, Molly. Two questions. One is, can those youth be still currently involved in the system, or do they need to be out of the system so they can be currently involved? And then is there any kind of, I don't know, summary or information link or where, because I'm thinking I could send it out to the soups because oftentimes our probation parole officers do know youth that are trying to,
do some leadership work.
Yeah.
Yes, I will. Anya and I will get that to you, Debbie.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
JJ. Yep. All right. It is 12:14, but I am going to open it up for public comment. Questions, comments, observations from anybody who is online with us. And if Nella is still online, I think she's still here. Would she like to give us an update on November 15th's event?
Sure. I was just taking bites of my lunch, so I was camera off. But I'm happy to provide an update. We have over 250 folks registered for that virtual conference. Again, if this is the first time you're hearing about that, the Oregon Judicial Department is hosting a half-day virtual summit for all juvenile justice system partners, so anyone can sign up. Even if someone doesn't work in the juvenile justice system, but maybe an adjacent system and is excited about the keynote speaker, Elizabeth Kaufman. Everyone is welcome. There's no cap on that. And so, again, we're really excited to have so many folks registered, hoping we get more folks registered sort of in these last couple of weeks. The official agenda for that and sort of program will go out probably early next week, so folks can see more what the day looks like. But generally, we'll have the keynote speaker for about 90 minutes. We're going to do a breakout session with folks within their discipline. So you'll be able to meet with folks who are in the same discipline as you, but from throughout the state for about 20 minutes just to do a debrief. And then we have a session from folks at OIA. When we were doing planning for this, it felt like there was a feeling that a lot of folks that are kind of siloed in different parts of the juvenile justice system don't always know exactly what folks are doing in other agencies. And so just creating an opportunity for a system partner spotlight kind of helps, certain agencies be able to talk about what their agency does, what their role is, and some of the kind of innovative programs that they've been working on or have had longstanding. So Sandra Santos will be presenting from OIA. We're excited to hear from her. And that's kind of an overview of the entire agenda. So again, the official kind of materials will go out soon. And I'm happy to drop the flyer in the chat. The registration link is embedded in the flyer. And so if you're not registered and you have that availability, please join us on November 15th. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Nella. And in future opportunities, I'm going to just volunteer YDO as being one of those really kind of cool hot spotlights with juvenile justice, because very few people understand what the SAG is, and having that role is even less known than most.
Absolutely. We'll sign you all up for next year.
There we go.
It's official.
Great. Any other? Welcome, Tori. It's nice to see you. We're actually, you timed it just right, unless you had specific public comment at 12:20 that you wanted to share. We're almost done.
Nope, just listening. Thank you.
Molly, can I say one more thing?
Of course, you absolutely. You get last. Are we at last words?
Well, I don't want to do last word. No, I just want to say one thing, and then Chloe wants to say anything else. Please go ahead. I just want to congratulate Christina and the planning committee for the conference in September for the amazing job that you have done, the amazing array of speakers that you were able to invite, and overall everything went well. However, my favorite is, of course, the ballet folklorico was that guy who looked like Woody.
I did.
Those of you who didn't see, that was this adorable young gentleman who was dressed in like a cowboy outfit. He was on the skinny side, so he did look like Woody. What he could do with his leg was amazing. I mean, his leg was like turning as a clock handle, like quickly. So anyway, but joking aside, it was fantastic. It was wonderful to see the youth present and perform, and it was top notch. Thank you, Christina, and your team.
Well, Anya, thank you for your very kind words. I was going to give a shout out to YDO and YDC for all the support of the conference. We just got some things tallied last week, and the overall, we did surveys, and the overall on a scale of 1 to 5, overall score rating that people gave the conference was 4.55. So we were pretty excited about that. The range of, we had it broken down if you went to the conference and you took the survey. We had different categories broken down for people to be able to comment on and rate. And the lowest we received was, which we weren't surprised, because this is my 5th conference, and the thing people always comment on is the food. But our lowest rating was 4.25, which was for the meals, all the way up to the highest rating was a 4.8. So we were pretty excited. We got a lot of great feedback and some really good handwritten comments that people took the time to put down that we'll be able to share with our 2025 conference committee on some areas that they can focus on improving from what we did this past year. But we would not have had the same conference if it wasn't for the contribution of YDO, not just, I mean, in ideas for presenters, helping us line up some presenters, but also sharing some technical assistance resources with us so that we could bring top-notch people to the conference. So thank you so much. I can't really give that enough credit. And also thank you, Brian and Anya, for helping raffle off our baskets. That was very fun. So anyway, it was a good time. And I see several people on here that were able to go. Nella, you're smiling. I know it was your first conference, and Kim was also there. Obviously, Tori, you get to go. Molly and I were there. It was really a good time. It was a lot of work, but the whole team felt very like, wow, this was it was a lot of work, but it was really worthwhile, and we're really happy with how things turned out. So anyway, and the Harry and David donations weren't bad. So yeah. Anyway.
Kim or Nella, either one.
I thought it was great. It's my first conference, so I was able to learn from so many different speakers, so many different disciplines. I felt mind blown, had the chance to connect with some of the folks here, had a lot of time to talk to Nella. So it was great both to learn new things, but also to connect with folks and see kind of the great work that's being done in the juvenile field. So yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of information really fast, wasn't it? Yeah. And Nella was unable to join us last year because she was on her honeymoon, if I remember right.
That is correct. I did join the year before, but I was pretty new in my role. And so it was fun to be there and recognize so many people and get to connect with new folks and folks that I've now sort of created relationships with. So that was really special. And I'll also say, and I've said this in a few spaces, we planned some conferences at OJD, and I was just so impressed by just the overall planning, but a lot of the thoughtfulness that was put in, the youth art, the ballet, of course, And yeah, just so many thoughtful touches. So kudos to those who planned it. I know it's a total bear to plan big conferences like this, but I was just so impressed by the small details.
Thanks, Nella. I will pass that on to our committee and your comments as well, Kim. Thank you both. And yours too, Anya.
So Brian, you did jump on. Is there anything you would like to share? You were also, or Lawrence, there was a variety of that were people that were able to be there.
I'm driving to Bend, so I'm probably,
okay.
I don't want to,
okay.
I'm sure I'm going to lose connection. Conference was excellent. Thanks to the planning committee. Thanks, Christina and Clackamas County folks. Well done. Yeah, I don't have much to add. I just figured I had a little time in the car, so I jump in. Yeah, good meeting. Love the efficiency. Well done, committee.
Brian, drive safe to Bend.
I shall.
I won't be there. I decided to stay home and I'll join you by Zoom.
Well, yeah, I'm not even, Anya and Lawrence are going to be at the Kojak meeting. I'm going to be at a convening that we're doing of our grantees. So we have 2 meetings happening in Bend.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to be either one of those. I'm going to just join by video. So,
all right.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order today? I love this group. We have plans, we have action steps, we had good discussion. I'm very open for everything, and I will see everybody next month.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy.
Bye.
Thanks, Molly. Thanks all.
Thank you, Joy.
Thank you.